Neptune into Aries, March 30th through October 22nd, 2025. The sea change is happening. This marks a historic full circle moment for humanity and a major shift in the landscape of our world. Hello, my name is Eliane-Nicole. I'm your astrologer and tarot reader, and in this video I'm going to talk about this very significant collective transit of Neptune moving into Aries for the next 14 years, starting with a little movie trailer between now and October. But before I get into the full translation of this very kind of lofty and sublime energy that's coming in to, the landscape of our entire lives, really, I just want to say, if you're watching this on Instagram, I'm just going to post the first 3 minutes here. The entire video will be available on my YouTube channel, Eliane-Nicole. My YouTube channel is my name, Eliane-Nicole. Please find me there. If you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure that you're subscribed to my channel. Please hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. Please like, please comment, please share. It helps me in the algorithm and to grow my business and my community and my channel. And it puts me in a position to continue to give these free astrological offerings. If you're watching this on Instagram, please make sure that you are following astrology.tarot.Eliane-Nicole. Please like, please comment, please share. It's free for you, very helpful to me. If you would like to book a reading with me, the link is in my profile bio of my Instagram to book a reading on my website, Eliane-Nicole.com. And if you would like to go over to the YouTube to see the entirety of this Neptune into Aries video, the link is also in the bio of my Instagram. And now, without further ado, I am going to get into the translation of Neptune into Aries. And Neptune has not been in Aries for 165 years. That's how long it takes Neptune to circle the entire sun. So this is really a collective transit that has more to do with like world events and the point that we're at in world history than it has to do with our personal charts, unless you have planets in 0 to 3 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, or Capricorn. This is going to be very personal to you for, about the next year and a half or so. But otherwise, it's going to be experienced as most people as a collective transit. Now, part one of this, March 30th through October 22nd, Neptune's just going to get from 0 degrees to 2 degrees Aries. So we're just getting a taster of what this Neptune and Aries energy is going to be like in 2025. And then Neptune is going to move in for good in 2026. And that's why, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I talked about this new era in the world that Pluto was ushering in. As Pluto moved into Aquarius November 19th, 2024 for a 20-year run. Neptune is bringing a big wave over this and giving us even more of a clear picture of what this new world is going to look like. It's like, Pluto and Aquarius had the concept of what's going on. We're starting to conceptualize it, and we're seeing the early hints of the themes, We're seeing the robots, we're seeing the AI, we're seeing the driverless cars, we're seeing, the space travel and all of the things that Pluto and Aquarius is telling us about what is going to transform our culture over the next 20 years. And then Neptune and Aries comes in, and it's almost like Pluto in Aquarius was this blank canvas, and Neptune in Aries is the paintbrush kind of coming in with the scenery, you know? It's like Pluto in Aquarius was the blank canvas and kind of the primer, and now here comes Neptune is like a paintbrush, which is a great metaphor because Neptune does have so much to do with images. And that is one of the things that when you're looking at the collective transit and you're looking at the 14-year arc, you know, you do see that there is this really new era that's happening in filmmaking and, you know, in art and in, you know, music and painting and photography, and how Neptune being in Aries and its interaction with Pluto and Aquarius, because as soon as Neptune steps into 0 degrees, it's in an applying orb to Pluto, who's already at 3 degrees Aquarius, taking a bite out of the new world. Neptune comes in and immediately the two are in a relationship together, a harmonious relationship. A sextile. A sextile is of the nature of Venus, so it's blending, it's harmonizing, it's sensual, it's you know, it's beneficial. And so we're, you know, the backdrop of the world that we're entering is Aquarius, Aries working together to grow this new world. And so all of us are going to be getting to know the Aquarius energy and Aries energy really well over the next 14 to 20 years, because it will be in the backdrop of all of our lives. Now, because, you know, Pluto takes 248 years to circle the sun, Neptune takes 165 years to circle the sun. So again, for the most part, these outer, slower moving planets have to do with the collective, what's going on for humanity as a whole, what is happening in historical world events. But we as individuals live within this, and so it affects our personal lives in different ways at different times, and we all interpret it differently depending on our own personal astrology, our own personal psychological makeup and soul path, and everything that the birth chart reflects. So, you know, who is this transit going to be personal for in these beginning months? You know, I want to kind of just break it down and look at what's in front of us between now and October. And again, if you have any personal planets, well, first of all, if in your natal chart, Neptune is in a direct aspect by degree to any of your personal planets, then you are a person in general who's going to experience Neptune transits stronger than the average person. For you, a Neptune transit may be personal, even though for most people it's collective. So that means if you have Neptune in aspect by degree to your sun, moon, rising, Mercury, Venus, or Mars, then you have a very personal relationship with Neptune. You're a Neptunian person. And so you probably felt the shift on March 30th when Neptune moved into a new sign. And you were probably feeling the energetic shift in a major way. For most people, it's just this very subtle undercurrent right now. It will grow over time, you know, as we get used to the energy and we see it, you know, being stimulated by the moon each month and being stimulated by some of the other transits with the other planets. It will grow. But for now, it might just be an undercurrent. But those of us who have astrology can recognize it. We can recognize it building and what it's presenting in the world. I call it the sea change is happening because Neptune rules the sea. Neptune is the god of the sea, and Neptune has so much to do with water and the ocean, amongst other things. You know, that's kind of like the geological manifestation of Neptune, but Neptune deals with images, which I touched on. So in the arts, Neptune is really connected to photography and painting and filmmaking, but Neptune also has a musical side. It's very connected to drums, composing music. Neptune is connected to poetry. Neptune has a whole side that is connecting to healing, you know, traditional medicine as well as Eastern and esoteric healing philosophies are Neptune. So while Neptune is in Aries over the next 14 years, you know, we're going to see major pioneering new frontiers in medicine, major innovation in medicine, major firsts, things that we've never seen in medicine and healing will be happening over these next 14 years. This beginning part where, you know, Neptune and Aries is interacting on the sextile with Pluto and Aquarius, there's so much opportunity. That's what I really want to let people know. The backdrop, you know, what this Pluto and Neptune backdrop is telling us is that there's a lot of opportunity in this new world, and there's an opportunity to, you know, take inspired action. And, you know, I really urge people to key into this part of the energy, because there are other parts of the energy that are a little darker and a little harder to deal with. And I think a lot of people are focused on that too much. You know, obviously there needs to be awareness about what's going on in the world, but I think that an over focus on that is missing the opportunities that are also presenting themselves in this new world. And that's what the sextile between Neptune and Pluto, there's just this backdrop of opportunity that's going to favor people who are willing to start new, take risks, be bold, be courageous, you know, act on their vision, act on their dream, you know, the new, you know, people who are willing to step into the new and the innovative and to think out of the box and to take those chances are going to be really supported by these energies. You know, there's another side to the Neptune Pluto energy, which is, Aries, you know, Pluto, Neptune and Aries. Aries is like the war. And, you know, there's a couple ways we can look at this. You know, Neptune and Aries in many ways could be the start of a 14-year war, a spiritual war, something to do with people's religious beliefs and ideological beliefs and or spiritual beliefs, that, you know, could be a war that extends over that time. In other ways, you could see Neptune dissolving wars in certain places. So it's two sides of the same coin, and there's an arc to the story again. So, but in general, you know, with Neptune and Aries, you can kind of see crusaders and holy wars and religious wars and people going to battle over the things that they believe in, you know. There can be, you know, battles over, you know, art, battles over films and music and the, you know, it's probably could be like copyright stuff, who knows, in this new AI era that we're entering. But I think we're entering a new era in film, for sure. New kinds of films and topics that are going to be popular will probably have to do with some Aryan themes and Aquarian themes, you know, the future, sci-fi, but also, you know, like war, final, you know, new frontier kind of stuff, but also like, you know, the hero's journey is very much Aries, the new fresh-faced hero that's appearing. You know, it's a new era in sports and athletics too that Neptune is talking about. You know, the last time Neptune was in Aries was 1861 to 1875. So we had the Civil War, we had the Emancipation Proclamation, and things like that happening. So we'll be seeing some full circle moments coming back to that era in history, and then how do we need to level up and progress from there? What's the new version of pushing those things forward in this era? That's what Neptune and Aries is likely to be bringing about. It does feel like a kind of awakening, but it's an awakening that's happening over a 14-year period of time. So it's not a quick awakening necessarily until Uranus gets into the action in July. And then Uranus will start bringing some quick twists and, you know, major advances forward and with short periods of bursts. But for now, you know, as Neptune enters Aries, those who have planets in the early degrees of, you know, the cardinal signs, but also the fire signs, you know, Neptune entering Aries for people with early Leo and Sagittarius placements, this is going to be hugely inspiring and just the boost of energy you probably need to launch forward into this inspired action, you know, on a dream or on a desire, a goal, you know, a quest that you want to begin, will be really supported in this time. And let's see, as Mars, as Neptune enters, you know, I think that Neptune and Aries, what are some other things? New religions, new spiritual leaders, holy wars, baptism by fire, purification by fire, trial by fire, fresh-faced new heroes, new trends in the film industry, acting on inspired action, the fog of war, you know, Saturn enters at the end of May. They will be in a close conjunction. This is, you know, this whole relationship going on between Saturn and Neptune right now is a much, you know, bigger story that's unfolding. And a lot of it has to do with the fusion of kind of sci-fi and reality on the one hand. On the other hand, it has to do with the dissolution of a lot of systems and structures that have been upheld for a long period of time. They're dissolving, they're disappearing. Another thing has to do with, you know, spiritual leaders that are dying or leaving their posts. Another thing, you know, there's so many different levels that this Neptune, Saturn, but yeah, the fusion of reality and sci-fi is a big one. Giving form to the dream is a positive way that it can manifest. But, you know, this is just, I can't impress upon you how much we are at a very specific moment in history. You know, these alignments are very rare. Like, yes, it took Neptune 165 years to get back here, but when you look at the alignments with the North Node and Saturn and, you know, Pluto and Venus and the way it's the picture of the whole sky, it's just, it's so rare for all of these planets to come together and line up in this way. We are truly at a majorly significant turning point in the history of the world and in human history. You know, we are giving birth to a new Earth and to a new error, hopefully not a new error, but you know, I do want to say it does look like things are getting better to me. Like, I'm so encouraged by the sextile between Neptune and Pluto, because they are working together creatively in the new world. I think, you know, I think the change is hard for a lot of people, and a lot of people are focused on the fear and all of the bad things that can happen. And of course there's a shadow. There's always a shadow. That's the nature of life on planet Earth. There's always going to be duality. There's always going to be an interplay between light and dark. There's, you know, always going to be opposites that we need to learn how to integrate. But I think that there's a lot of exciting progress that's happening that's really going to be to the good of humanity, and there's a lot of opportunity to harness that energy and create a new life and a new path for yourself within this new world that is emerging. And the final entry of Neptune into Aries will be January 26. But we're getting this movie trailer, which is a really good analogy for Neptune, I think, of what this Neptunian era is going to be like for us. And, you know, Neptune will be in Aries for 14 of the 20 years that Pluto is in Aquarius. And, you know, Aries has to do with the new, and Aquarius is thinking out of the box. So the relationship between the two energies is so much about a new frontier and humanitarian ideals and, you know, startups and Yeah, and it's also a very revolutionary combination on the other side, Aries is revolution, Aries is war, Aries is activism and advocating and, the front lines, and Aquarius is thinking out of the box and futuristic and, technology. And so you put these two together and you just see how all of this new futuristic technology is just completely transforming the world very quickly. Aries is the fastest moving energy, so it's going to be ablaze how quickly things change. And so that Aries energy with the Pluto energy is just quickening, speeding up the pace of the Pluto transformation. So Pluto is going deep, and Pluto likes to move slow, but Aries is speeding it along and making things move faster. And so you just really see this like kind of exponential growth and change and transformation into the future that we're having. And it's around air travel, it's around space travel, it's around just drones and technology and robots and AI, and it's medicine, and it's technology, and it's science, and it's just so much all happening at once, just pushing us forward into this new, almost unrecognizable world to, let's say where we were in 2020 when we were really visually seeing the crumbling of the old world beginning. And we've been in this birth canal pretty much since 2020 until 2020, the end of 2024. Now we're being pushed out into this new world, into this new life as we know it on the planet. Things are not going to be the way that they were, and everyone is pretty clear on that now, I think. But yeah, I will probably come back with more videos as Neptune makes some of its more significant aspects during this little trailer that we're getting while he's in Aries. But it definitely has to do with a sea change happening in so many different areas of the world. A sea change is happening in the wars, but even the way that we go to war, even the way that we go to combat, that's also something that Pluto and Neptune are talking about. That's going to completely change. That's going to be a completely different futuristic way that we do war. So there's all of these different ways that Neptune and Pluto are transforming the culture, and they're the backdrop, and then we have to live within that. And so, again, those of you who have planets at 0 to 3 degrees of Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, or Libra, this is going to be immediately a personal transit for you starting this spring, taking you through the summer into mid-fall. And also if you have any planets at 0 to 3 of any of the fire signs, this could be very personal to you. And so, I don't know, I just kind of wanted to do that introduction. Neptune is so tricky, Neptune is, it's hard to define with just keywords, There's the side of Neptune that's so artistic. There's the side of Neptune that's healing. There's the side of Neptune that's religious. But then there's the side of Neptune that has to do with like escapism and addiction and intoxication. And then there's the part of Neptune that has to do with images and artistry, and so there's a part of Neptune that has to do with scams and frauds and deception. So it's this really tricky energy, and how you relate to it depends on how and where he's placed in your chart. So again, you always have to know your own personal chart to know how these transits affect you. And so I encourage you to contact me for a reading. It's a great time for a reading to see, where is Pluto in your chart for the next 20 years? Where is Neptune in your chart for the next 14 years? What kind of backdrop is this creating in your life? And how does the rest of your natal promise relate to that? How are you going to show up in this era? What is the way to go for you in this era? Like, these are all things that, looking at your chart, can bring some clarity and stimulate some important reflection and maybe decision making. And so astrology can be a really useful tool in self-awareness and self-discovery, and I just love it. I love sharing it with others. So I encourage you to contact me for a reading so we can kind of see where this new era is lighting up your chart. And yeah, I read on Zoom, so I can read for people anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. I would love to read for you. So please contact me for a reading. I'm going to put a link in the description notes of my YouTube to book a reading with me. If you would just like to buy me a coffee or a tea or a croissant to thank me for this offering, then I will also have a link to my Venmo in the description, which you can just send me a donation. And yeah, that's it for now. I still don't have my cards on the table. I need to put them on the table anyway so I can give you a tarot reading, but I'll come back with a tarot video about the tarot of 2025 perhaps. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And there is so much to say about the topic of Neptune and Aries. And so this is just scratching the surface. This is just giving you a little hint of what to expect. But I will be here to talk about it more. And yes, thank you so much for joining me. Bye now.